Will Smith, and welcome to the TAO of Bergerac. Some of you might only know Bergerac as a region in France. You are idiots. Most of you will know it as an 80s detective series set on Jersey starring John Nettles as Detective Sergeant Jim Bergerac. Jim solves crimes whilst negotiating his relationship with ex-father-in-law Charlie Hungerford, boss Barney Crozier, and a bevy of beauties. On the surface, this might just seem like a superlative drama that raised the bar for TV detective shows and paved the way for such imitators as Cracker, Prime Suspect, and 24. But it's so much more than this. Bergerac is a treasure trove of emotional truth and moral wisdom. Life lessons fall from it, like excuses from a shoplifting child. Now imagine my delight when I came across an audiobook of John Nettles reading other life lessons, namely the Tao, the ancient Chinese book of wisdom. Ever since then, I've used it as a guide to solving dilemmas in my life. It's kind of a karmic handbook. I know I can get easily upset. I find it hard to let things lie. But the Tao helps me calm down and accept things. For instance, this is the sound of my flatmate doing the washing up. Yeah, that's not some kind of Zen moment. Nor is the sound down or the tape broken. He never does it. It really aggravates me, but I calm down when I listen to section 16 of the Tao.
Understanding the ordinary. Enlightenment. Not understanding the ordinary. Blindness creates evil.
It couldn't be clearer. I understand the ordinary, i.e. the need to wash up. My flatmate doesn't understand this and is therefore evil. But then we live in an unjust society. I recently purchased season 2 of Bergerac, now thankfully released on DVD, allowing us to enjoy crystal clear picture and surround sound. And yet, they have neglected to furnish this long-awaited release with a DVD commentary. I had to do my own.
Professor Chalice, I think I should be honest with you. We think that Antonio was murdered.
Look at him there. He's got to be what? 30? 32? What am I thinking? 28. Yeah, a 28-inch waist. He's like a polecat.
Now, I can't help thinking I'd feel safer in my home if real policemen tried to be like Jim. He delivers more justice than any other cop on television. He's leagues ahead of 24's Jack Bauer, who seems to only work one day a year. Bergerac ran for 87 episodes over 10 years. I estimate that of the 72 arrests that Jim makes, 67 of those would have led to a criminal conviction. And who knows what his arrest rate would be now if the series had continued? Who knows? Well, I do. And so can you if you read my fan fiction, which I hope will one day surface as CSI Jersey. And spin-off show Bergerac Uncorked, featuring cast interviews and an interactive case history message board. BBC Three love that kind of rubbish. Now, as a cop, he just focuses on getting the job done, without any contrived tics or quirks. I hate it when a law enforcement officer's individual sense of style and methodology is ill thought out. Take Batman, right? He's scared of bats, so he dresses like a bat. Sounds like the sort of idea you have where you go, well, something like that needs a bit of fleshing out. It just doesn't work. What I say to Batman is this: do you have any of the characteristics of a bat? Do you have claws on your elbows? Do you have poor eyesight, which you compensate for with your sonar capabilities? If you were found nesting in someone's loft, would they need permission from the council to remove you because of your endangered species status? Is your urine so high in ammonia content that humans entering your breeding ground have to wear breathing apparatus? No, it's nonsense. I mean, I am slightly biased. I auditioned for Batman Begins. It wasn't my fault. There was a mix-up with the casting director. Obviously, when I turned up, I realised that I wasn't right for Chinese Kung Fu master. Yeah, but I gave it my best shot. But I put my back out trying to get into the lotus position and had to be helped from the room. Now, I really wanted John Nettles to be a guest on tonight's show. I sent him a letter a day for a month. Eventually, I got a reply, and unfortunately, He's doing the voiceover for a Malaysian Airlines in-flight safety film. Actually, would they record that in the evening? Maybe he's had to go over there to do it. I'm sure he'd be here if he could. But I am delighted to welcome in his stead a very special guest, Mr. Simon Coppock. Now, Simon, you're a Jersey boy, like me. Tell everyone here your connection with Bergerac.
I was in an episode of Bergerac.
Fantastic. Genuine talent in the room. And how old were you at the time?
Oh, I've got to think about this. It was the same summer as me first kiss, so must have been about 12.
And did you... 12? It's a bit early.
Bit late. Made up for it, though. Back on the island, they call me the Hymenator.
Great. And which episode of Bergerac did you feature in?
Oh, God, I can't remember the name. It was 1985 or 1986?
85. There wasn't a series in 86, only the Christmas special Fires in the Fall. I mean, I say only, it's 90 minutes of prime Nettles soup. It's the first of what I like to call the Bergerac films. What was your episode about?
It was about tennis.
Episode 36, The Tennis Racket. Jim is assigned to protect a spoiled tennis star who has received several death threats. In the end, they turn out to have come from his younger and less talented brother. Echoes of the Williams sisters there a good 15 years before such fiction became fact. Tell us what you had to do in the scene.
I was a kid who blocked Bergerac's way in the street because I was listening too loudly to my Walkman.
Now, what you don't know is that I also went for that part.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, I have very bad luck with auditions. I blew this one by insisting that they dub the Walkman sound on after, as it would be damaging to my ears to listen to loud music for take after take. And that could have been my way in. You start with a bit part. Next thing you know, they're going, that kid was great, let's get him back. I become a regular. My character starts dating Jim's daughter. I get my own spin-off show where Jim is my father-in-law, the Charlie Hungerford figure. I would have been the Scrappy-Doo to his Scooby-Doo. Except good and not hateful.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it that much, I just knew if I got on television as a teenager, I'd get me pipe smoked.
By that, of course, you mean you bought a pipe with the money, but you didn't smoke it till you reached the legal age.
No, I mean,
Radio 4, 6:30.
Yeah, I smoked a pipe.
It was a golden age of television, though, wasn't it? Bergerac, Lovejoy, Howard's Way. It was like Shakespeare, Dickens, and Frederick Forsyth, all writing for soaps. It's such rubbish these days.
What? What are you talking about? Balls of Steel? That's wicked.
The Channel 4 show?
Yeah, they do these pranks. Like, there's this one guy who goes up to people, he asks them if they want a bumming.
And what happens?
Well, they say no, or walk off.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, a Jackass. Those guys are crazy. I saw one where they skateboard into a lake. They got totally soaked. And then, check this out, they ate worms till they were sick.
Why would you do that, unless you're on the run?
Oh, it's just the kind of stuff you do when you're drunk,
Really? I watch Smiley's people. Anyway, thanks, Simon. The crime problem's got me thinking about justice in general.
Do you know Chris Miles?
No. Why?
Well, you're both on the radio.
It doesn't really work like that.
He's hilarious.
Is he?
Yeah, he cracks me up.
The Chris Miles on Radio 1?
Yeah. He did this great one the other week. Gay guy goes into a pogo stick shop.
I've got to stop you there. Partly on taste, but mainly on logic. There are no pogo stick shops. It's too specific as a business model to survive on the modern high street. Maybe there might be a selection of pogo sticks in an area of a shop that also says bikes or toys, but as an outlet for just pogo sticks, no way. Now just sit tight. Now, justice is something all people yearn for, whether it's the part in a TV show they should have got, or the fact that Victoria Beckham is allowed. I see injustice all around me.
Were you at Victoria College?
Yes.
It's coming back to me now. Did you know Robin Granger?
Oh, yeah, Robin?
Yeah, he's my cousin. And I remember him telling me about this kid who was really uptight and wanted the prefects renamed the Bergerac Youth.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. And on the last day of term, when everyone brought in games, you asked for extra homework.
I was there to learn.
And you wet yourself in a rugby scrum.
No comment. Now, although I've always been a fan of Bergerac and really wanted to be in it, I never had any interest in becoming a detective in real life. But recently, my attitude changed, and I found myself applying to become a community support officer. This was for two reasons. One, the kids in my area come from broken homes. They've got no father figures, no role models. They need someone to respect, someone who will be firm but fair with them, show them the difference between right and wrong, nurture them through the tricky waters that lie between the islands of childhood and adulthood. And secondly, you get free bus travel. Not tube, just bus. But that'll still save me a cool 20 notes a month. But it wasn't just the free travel, I really wanted to do my bit. I mean, the justice system in this country is in such a state of disarray. They're always running out of prison places. I just don't understand how that can creep up on them. I mean, we've all been caught out by not having enough milk, or not leaving enough space to write the letters of happy birthday with the same spacing on a card, or miscalculated the amount of batter needed for 12 Yorkshire puddings. These problems are easily rectifiable. You can't just pop down to the prison shop and buy some more cells. I mean, one solution was to have prison ships. Yeah, because if there's one thing there isn't enough of in prisons, it's sodomy. The other solution to crime that seems to me completely crazed is celebrity advertising. The NSPCC ran this poster campaign with pictures of people like Ross Kemp and Ewan McGregor looking all soulful and concerned with the slogan, "Child abuse must stop." And I just thought, who is that aimed at? Like someone's going to walk past the poster and go, "Oh my God, I love abusing kids, but I love Ross Kemp." I really wanted to get involved, and what's more, the TAO seemed to be leading me there.
A tree too big to embrace is born from a slender shoot. A 9-storied tower rises from a pile of earth. A 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step.
It seemed pretty clear. I start as a community support officer, and within a couple of years, I'll be a maverick cop who bends the rules to get the job done and is known on the streets as the trash collector. My first step in this 1,000-mile journey was to submit an application form. There were 3 sections that proved problematic. In the first, I had to write about a law I'd want to see passed. I went for something very close to my heart, fuzzy logic. I would make it a criminal offence. The example I used was the sign, "We don't swim in your toilet, please don't pee in our pool." Well, of course you don't, unless you have some sort of shrink ray, in which case I'm sure you could put it to better use than swimming in my toilet. And it's a very empty threat, I've just peed in your pool. Right, well, I'm going to swim in your toilet. Well, OK, but I should warn you that the ratio of urine to water is going to be a lot higher in my toilet. I really think you're getting the worst deal, but knock yourself out. I hope people like that do swim in my toilet, because I would take great delight in voiding myself all over them for their logical inconsistencies. In the second section, you had to give an example of a situation where you had demonstrated respect for someone with a belief or lifestyle that significantly differed from your own. This was much easier. My flatmate believes in a lifestyle of indolence and hedonism. He will eat a takeaway pizza from the box. He won't dry the shower or bath after using it. He forgets to put the remote control back in the special pouch that hangs off the arm of the sofa for remote controls. Now, for the most part, I respect this as much as I'm able, but I do admit I did confront him recently. Hi, I know this might not be a good time.
Tasha, this is Will, Tasha.
Hi, sorry, I didn't see you under the duvet. I've noticed that you've taken to adding mixed herbs to your pasta sauces without noting it on the used herbs list, which I need you to do so that we can monitor the herb and spice situation and purchase before we run out.
You need help.
Wrong again, loser. I caught you single-handed. It's worth taping every single encounter with him for those moments I can use to shame him on national radio. The third section asked if I had ever committed an offence. Now, I didn't want to leave that section blank. It looks suspicious to be so squeaky clean. Plus, people respect you if you're honest. Like on my university application form, I listed my interests as pussy and weed. Then in the interviews, I changed that to cats and gardening. So I wrote about when I went into the wrong toilet in a pub. It wasn't my fault, right? One door had a picture of grapes on it, the other, a hat. I thought, well, women wear hats, grapes are like testicles. I was wrong. I still don't see why grapes are women and hats are men. I mean, anyway, what's wrong with using the words men and women?
Maybe it's sexist.
It's fair enough, some men might have women's bodies. That's true, actually. Once a month, I get very sore nipples.
Well, my local has pimps and whores on the bogs.
Is that the Blue Fox?
Yeah, do you know it?
Yeah, I went in once and was told no scouts.
Why do they say that?
I was wearing a scout uniform. I was going to my interview as a venture scout. I was nervous, I had a dry mouth. It doesn't matter. Back to my police interview, which I was called to a week later, and of which, luckily, I have a record.
So what made you want to become a police officer?
In a word, Jim.
We don't have a Jim.
Jim Bergerac.
What's that?
No, who's that?
Why are you asking me? I don't know what you're talking about.
We didn't get off to a great start. But what kind of history of policing do they teach them these days?
Right. The job title is Community Support Officer. How do you feel you can reach out to the people in your local community?
Well, I know what it's like to feel isolated in a community. I left Jersey because I didn't fit in.
I find that surprising.
Well, I couldn't sail, I couldn't surf, and I damn sure couldn't take orders from a voice-down phone. Never hip enough for the surf community, never square enough for the finance industry. I was lost. To this day, Bronski Beat's small-town voice still means a lot to me.
Although I recently realised that song has strong gay overtones, I personally don't see it as a gay song. To me, it's just about outgrowing your roots, needing to stretch your wings, needing to move to a bigger island where you won't be laughed at for wearing a suit on a non-uniform day at school.
Now, obviously, I don't get to carry a gun. What kind of weapons do I have? Mace?
We favour CS spray in extreme circumstances.
No, I meant a mace. Medieval club with spikes.
Well, those are illegal.
Thought it was a long shot. What about a cudgel?
We don't tend to arm our community support officers.
Unarmed combat. I like it. What kind of martial arts training do I get?
No, you're not allowed to physically intervene in an altercation. You have to call it in for fully fledged officers to deal with.
Well, how do I arrest someone if they're resisting?
You don't actually have any powers of arrest.
Damn it, you're cutting off my balls and expecting me to fight a war. And it is a war out there. And these are my balls in your hands.
I calmed down over this when I realised that Bergerac doesn't need guns. You know, he has guns pulled on him, and he either talks the guy down or wrestles him using moves he learnt on the streets, not in some fancy gymnasium. He then asked me if there was a particular problem in my local area that needed addressing.
Indeed there is. Loud car stereos.
Right, well, there isn't much we can do about that, because since the car's passed by, it isn't viewed as noise pollution per se. What's that?
That's what I have to put up with.
It doesn't sound very loud to me.
Well, it wouldn't. I recorded it on my phone. You want to hear it with a big bass bin and speakers the size of filing cabinets.
It just wouldn't be a priority for us. It's an extremely minor inconvenience.
Are you kidding? The windows shake, it sets off car alarms, and on one occasion it brought on a motion.
A what?
A motion. A nunu, a biggie, a nunky, a Count Dooku.
You mean a shit?
Haven't you broken the law there, swearing in public? I've got that on tape.
What do you mean? Is that a tape recorder in there?
I'm pointing now to my breast pocket. The sergeant is looking angry.
Why are you recording this?
Well, you know, you guys have a reputation. Tapes go missing, the wrong people go down. Say, unbeknown to me, your wife has left you, you're angry at men in general. I ask you for a cup of tea. Next thing I know, I'm doing a stair dive into a cell with a crim who's hungry for love, and he ain't choosy.
You shouldn't be recording this.
But this is going to count as one police interview on my record, and I've got a very common name. There's at least one other person out there with my exact name. Supposing there's someone out there with my name who's about to become the most prolific serial killer in history.
Detection isn't just based on people with similar names.
But all we need is slovenly inputting of data, and I'm going down. I mean, no offence, I've spoken to some of the guys you have on the front desk. They're pretty unimpressive. So imagine the kind of drongos you've got doing the paperwork, bashing their hooves on the keyboards.
All right, turn that off.
Now, not only did I not have the qualities needed for a community support officer, I also had 4 out of the 5 characteristics of a serial killer. Fastidious, loner, sexually immature, obsession with other serial killers. The only characteristic he said I failed on was appearing to lead a normal life. He red flagged me on some kind of database. I had to be interviewed by a psychiatrist. This was grossly unfair. An injustice had been perpetrated against me. The police had let the music terrorist go free, while the volunteer sheriff was being castigated. I turned to the TAO for guidance.
When a lord of 10,000 chariots behaves lightly in this world, lightness loses its root, passion loses its master.
Well, the Lord of 10,000 Chariots is clearly the police officer who rejected me. He behaved lightly by dismissing my problem with noise pollution, and passion had lost its master because he didn't care about doing his job, enforcing the law. Thus, I knew I had to teach the lawman the true meaning of justice. First of all, I needed big speakers fitted in my car. Having purchased these from Halfords, I proceeded to a garage to have them fitted.
Now in the garage area, just waiting for my speakers to be fitted. Look at him, he's just standing over there with his mates, laughing. No, he's showing me something on his phone. Probably one of those stripping films that are very easy to download, but show up on your bill. They're easy to explain away as a mistake the first time, but I must not get caught again. Here he is.
What, mates, what?
Mate, bought these fatty speakers, and I need them fitted.
Fatty?
Sorry, am I getting the lingo wrong?
Well, I get you. So it's your car, yeah?
Yeah, well, hire car.
Well, I can't hold my hire car.
Why not?
Well, it's not yours, is it?
Well, it is for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, but you don't own it.
You don't own a house when you've got a mortgage. You're still allowed to decorate it.
I'm not doing it.
Right. I want to see the manager.
I can hear you from over here, mate. Piss off.
I then took them back to Halfords.
I can't do a refund.
But I don't need them.
You've opened the packaging.
What am I supposed to do with them?
I can exchange them for something of equivalent value.
They cost 300 quid. I mean, what can I get for that? 150 wiper blades, 68 car mats, 700 air fresheners.
You can get a sat-nav.
I haven't got a car. That's why I don't need the speakers.
Why did you buy them then?
Well, I tried to join the police force. I was turned down. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I've now got some great rims on my wheelie bin. I decided to proceed using my iPod connected to stereo speakers. Just connecting it up now. Let's see how he likes it. This is going to rock his socks off.
Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Pushed around and kicked around, always a lonely boy. You were the one that they talk about around town when you punch it.
Oh, that's his light coming on. Right, time to go. I hit a speed bump at an odd angle and knocked myself out on the steering wheel. So now I have a pimped-up wheelie bin with £300 rims, the bill for a damaged hire car, an interview with a criminal psychiatrist, and an ASBO.
ASBOs are cool. I got one for setting fire to a bin.
The only excuse for that is if you were creating some sort of primitive landing strip for an out-of-fuel plane. I have to go to weekly meetings with all these kids, the likes of which I've only ever seen before on documentaries.
It'll give you some cred, like Russell Brand.
Oh, what, he's got more cred than me, is he?
You're not serious, are you?
I am. Why has he got more cred than me? You know, I could backcomb my hair, I could wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, but you'd look like the child catcher. He's just lived a bit more than you.
But why does indulgence get you more points than abstinence? You know, Russell Brand goes on a chat show and says, you know, I haven't taken any heroin for 3 years. And he gets a round of applause. Everyone thinks, oh, how cool. What strength of character. You know, I have never taken heroin. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You're a bit boring.
I am not. I've got a dark side.
Have you ever been addicted to anything?
Middle-earth role-playing. No, I was, day and night for 3 years, working out character stats, writing adventure scenarios, compiling combat charts, writing spells, map-making, trying to work out the bloody rules. I had my demons, literally, a whole shelf of miniature lead ones.
It's not the same as heroin.
How many people here have ever taken heroin? None of you. How many people here have even played Middle-earth role-playing? No one. So you don't know that Middle-earth role-playing could be as addictive and as hard to kick as heroin. The symptoms are exactly the same. Sunken eyes, bad skin, inability to socialise, bankrupting yourself to the point where you consider stealing to pay for your habit, poor hygiene. Most of my friends stank. Where's my one-night stand with Kate Moss? Where's my £1 million autobiography? Where are my reams and reams of meaningless sexual encounters? I'll tell you where they are. Round at Russell Brand's flat. He stole my life!
Okay, yeah. I know you. You're the one who went to the sixth form ball dressed as Gandalf, aren't you?
When will people let that go? The invite said white tie or gowns. I'll tell you something I can do that Russell Brand can't.
Walk down the street without being recognised.
Shut up. I can link any film you care to name to a specific episode of Bergerac in 6 moves or less. 6 Degrees of Bergerac. Give me a crime movie.
Maniac Cop.
Features Bruce Campbell, who's in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, who's in The Cider House Rules with Michael Caine, who's in Last Orders with Ray Winston, who's in Episode 20, 90% Proof. Anyone else? This proves that Bergerac is woven into the very texture of the universe. Come on. Dead men don't wear plaid. That's Steve Martin, who's in LA Story with Richard E. Grant, who's in With No Lie with Richard Griffiths, who is in Episode 16, Fall of a Birdman. Which one? Grease. Grease, John Travolta, Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson, Red Violin with Greta Scacchi, Episode 10, Hood and the Harlequin. Jean de Florette. What's his name? Gerard Depardieu, who's in Green Card, one of my favourites.
Will Smith Presents the TAO of Bergerac was written by Will Smith and Roger Drew. It was performed by Adam Buxton, Simon Greenall, Matt Holness, Dan Tetsell and Will Smith. John Nettles did the voice of John Nettles, and the producer was Tilusha Ghelani.
Bambi. Bambi features Sterling Holloway as an uncredited flower. He is in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World with Terry Thomas. Who is in I'm Alright Jack with Richard Attenborough, who is in Brannigan with Tony Robinson, Baldrick from Blackadder, who's in episode 64, My Name's Sergeant Bergerac. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Good evening, I'm Will Smith and welcome to the TAO of Bergerac. It's 1981, television is dead, the Cold War is at its height. John Nettles stars in a new TV detective show set on Jersey. 10 years later, and the Cold War is won. The fingers of Reagan and Gorbachev had hovered not over the nuclear button, but over the remote control. Bergerac had become the greatest crime drama that this country has ever produced. It's our Sopranos. But John Nettles is a giver, not a taker, and one of his next moves was to record an audiobook of the TAO, the ancient Chinese Book of Wisdom. This audiobook is my guide through the stress pits of modern life. It's the literary equivalent of a candlelit bath with Enya on repeat. Had some bad news? Then turn to chapter 58.
Bad fortune rests upon good fortune. Good luck hides within bad luck.
Well, that certainly puts, say, global warming in perspective. We might suffer an environmental meltdown, but on the plus side, I can take to the hills and live with a group of renegade eco-bandits led by Ray Mears. Bergerac harks back to a simpler, purer age. A detective on an island solves crimes. Imagine the mess the BBC would make of that now. His daughter would be a smackhead. It would be set in Manchester. He'd drive an electric car. He'd lead a team of ethnically diverse con men. They'd go into restaurants and explain how they could work better, and there'd be some kind of vote. And one of the things I admire about the Jim Bergerac character is the fact that he's an individual. He goes against the grain. He drives a classic car. He'll flirt with a suspect. He'll wear a sports jacket to a black-tie dinner. I took solace in this when I was mocked in my teenage years for various acts of individuality. I ran a lunchtime club devoted to the debunking of construction techniques as depicted in the A-Team. I insisted on pluralisation of the word discus to disci at the end of games lessons. I drew particular fire for my participation in competitions run by the Jersey Cat Club. My instincts told me to stick with it, front it out, but wearing the rosettes to school just made things worse. Of course, all TV cops are supposed to be quirky and single-minded, but Bergerac is unique. His quirk is that he is a divorced alcoholic. This is a TV first. Name me another detective who has a problem with drink and relationships set in Jersey. There isn't one. He is the greatest. What's the competition? People always cite Inspector Morse as the best detective show. Now, the thing about Morse is, it's predictable. It's always about murders, always set amongst the dreaming spires of Oxford. Bergerac features a wider range of crimes and locations, even though Jersey has a smaller square mile area than Oxford, 44 as opposed to 112. Also, it isn't as snobby or class-bound as Morse. Jim can be seen following a lead in a nightclub, grooving away to electropop, and resisting the temptation to fall back on his alcoholic ways. Rather than getting sozzled on whiskey, pretending to like opera, and stealing the idea of driving a classic car. Bergerac will follow stories right through the many stratas of society, from a cigar-chomping upper-class tax exile all the way down to a dentist. It really does run the gamut of Jersey society. Then we have a touch of frost. Why do the names have to be so literal? Bergerac doesn't go around with a large nose making up poems in French. His nose is perfectly proportioned, sharp, inquisitive, almost puckish. The man has the profile of a Roman emperor and the body of a gladiator. I'd love a touch of Bergerac rather than a touch of frost, which would be the inept fumblings of an old man trying to get his driving gloves off. At least Inspector Morse has a recognisable theme tune. I mean, what was that droning bilge? The Bergerac theme blends pop, rock, Cajun and reggae, showing the mix of cultural influences that make Jersey one of the most exotic and eclectic cultures in the whole of the English Channel. Let's not forget Taggart, in plots for which always seem to revolve around fishing a dead junkie out of a canal. It's just depressing. I mean, it's so bleak that the star died. John Nettles, on the other hand, doesn't look a day over 20. And the current cop shows are even bleaker. I mean, the cops are all supposed to be maverick individuals, but they're all exactly the same. You've got Rebus, Messiah, Waking the Dead, Prime Suspect, right? They all wear suits and have difficulty forming relationships because of the darkness they see at work. Well, maybe they'd be more cheerful if they turned on the lights. All those shows are set in dimly lit rooms. It's a depressing work environment to begin with. It's just rooms full of perspex boards and crime scene photos with actors yelling things like, "Come on, people, we've got to think like the killer. What's he trying to tell us? Why is he doing this?" I'll tell you why. Because he's mental. Serial killers are insane. Now, in spite of Bergerac's credentials as the greatest regional detective show ever, you will be as shocked as I am to learn that English Heritage has so far refused to grant John Nettles a blue plaque honouring this major contribution to world culture. Sherlock Holmes has a blue plaque, and he's a fictional character. In fact, he's more fictional than Bergerac, because Bergerac is at least 50% John Nettles, who is a real person. To discuss this with me is a man synonymous with Bergerac. Not John Nettles. I bombarded his agent with emails, but unfortunately word came back that John has injured himself rehearsing the fight sequences as Captain Hook for the Bradford Alhambra Christmas Panto. Hang on, it's summer. Do they start Panto rehearsals this early? Anyway, my guest tonight is a man who can claim to have ownership of the style of Bergerac. He is in many ways the auteur of the series, seeing as how he directed more episodes than any other director. 3. Please welcome Nicholas Moss. Nicholas, great to have you here. Tell everyone which episodes of Bergerac you directed.
It's lovely to be here on Radio 4.
Yes, I know. It's an oasis of quality programming. I pitched Bergerac Mania to ITV, where contemporary actors perform their favourite scenes. They didn't even reply. So, which episode?
Do I get a buzzer?
No.
So, how do I buzz in if you deviate or repeat?
That's just a minute. You're on the TAO of Bergerac.
Sounds fun. What are the rules?
There aren't any rules. It's a celebration of the show that you directed.
Well, I directed lots of shows all a very long time ago, I'm afraid. My memory's not what it was.
Do you remember the show Bergerac?
With Gerard Depardieu.
No, that's Cyrano de Bergerac.
Can you give me a clue?
It's not a quiz. It starred John Nettles.
Oh, I remember him.
Great.
A scoundrel.
Tell us more.
A disgrace.
Really?
When he made that speech about the rivers of blood, I felt ashamed. Ashamed. It was a disgrace. We are a tolerant nation.
No, look, that's Enoch Powell. That's a totally different person. Never mind. I mean, are you sure you don't remember? I mean, these are your credits on the IMDb. Maybe they'll spark something. Your TV directing includes All Creatures Great and Small, To the Manor Born, Howard's Way, and, of course, Bergerac. No?
Bergerac.
Great. What about it?
That's the odd one out because it's a one-word title.
No, how many times do I have to tell you it's not a quiz? This is about you. I don't suppose you're going to remember these films you've apparently directed. Naughty Choir Boys, Confessions of a Games Master, and Putting Up the Rent.
You remind me of a young Kenneth Williams.
Thank you, he was a very funny man.
Full of gay rage.
Not this again. Look. In the meantime, the battle is with English Heritage and their ludicrous overlooking of John's plaque. Now, these are the criteria for receiving a blue plaque as listed on the English Heritage website. They should be considered eminent by a majority of members of their own profession or calling. Now, Nicholas, you agree that John Nettles is one of the most... Forget it.
Where's Paul Merton?
John Nettles is clearly an eminent member of his profession, having been on top-rated shows on both the BBC and ITV. His 1973 guest appearance on Black Beauty alone put him at the top of the tree. Who could forget the way his billowing gypsy shirt enveloped his snake-hipped lover's body? Not me, it's my screensaver. The second criteria is that the recipient should be recognisable to the well-informed passerby or deserve national recognition. Well, both of those are true. If I show the audience this picture, everyone knows that
it's... A young Michael Burke.
No.
10 points to me.
Please, shush. It's John Nettles. This show isn't called the TAO of Burke. Why would I show a picture of Michael Burke? The rules state that they should have resided in London for a significant period in time or importance within their life and work. Well, of course, John was a member of the RSC for 5 seasons.
4 seasons.
5 seasons. I checked it on Wikipedia.
Well, it's wrong. There's spring, summer, autumn, winter, 4.
This is taking years off my life. I went into the English Heritage offices to clarify these points.
Yes, who's next?
Hi, I wondered why there's no blue plaque for John Nettles.
Oh, the botanist, am I right?
No, the actor.
I'm afraid I can't comment on individual cases.
Come on, you're not the Prime Minister being asked about why my grandfather's been turned down for a transplant.
These decisions are made by a committee. I just work at reception. I can tell you there's a backlog of worthy people waiting for plaques.
Am I allowed to see this list?
Yeah, look, there you go. We're on our website, there we are. Ian Jury, Vaughan Williams, John Thor, Eric Sykes, David Jason.
Oh, bloody hell. Morse and Frost. You people know nothing. Nothing.
I beg your pardon. I do know that I'm going to have to ask you to leave now.
Or what? You'll call English Heritage Security? I'd like to see what they... Ow, 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 ow. Okay.
He gave me what my brother used to call a nipply gripply. I just couldn't believe that this oversight was real. I wandered aimlessly through the streets, killing time before my next appointment. I was in a bit of a daze, and that's the only reason I can give for my next action, which was to join the Church of Scientology. I was stopped in the street by a woman in a tracksuit, and I'm always suspicious of people in full tracksuits outside of any kind of sporting arena. She asked if I'd heard of the Church of Scientology, and I said yes. Did I know anything about it? Not really. Do I want to know more? Head? No. Mouth? Yes. Then she asked if I wanted to do a personality test for them, and I thought, well, most people probably say no. Which is no reason to do it at all. I mean, it's like those women who write to serial killers in prison. They don't get much post. Well, there's a reason. So anyway, I answered this multiple choice. Now, if I hadn't taped the results, I don't think I'd have believed them. I mean, listen to this. You will barely recognise the person they are describing. First, they said...
You're not very happy, are you, Will?
Now, in hindsight, that was probably right. I was sitting in a windowless room with a stranger who believes we're all descended from alien angels.
Look at this dip here. Your happiness rating is minus 100%.
Well, I was a bit down because of the whole plaque kerfuffle, but minus 100%? I'm glad they didn't test me on the day the BBC cancelled Bergerac.
Your activity rating is very low.
I don't think that reflects a man who at school recorded his own audiobook of the novel of The Empire Strikes Back and sold them in the playground, huh? That shows a bit of get up and go. I made £4.60 one lunchtime. I would have made a lot more if Jason Gould had paid me, but he didn't. He just took the tapes and recorded Adam and the Ants over them. And when I asked for the money, he called me a shitty gay bastard. And I said, that means someone who's bad at being gay, which means I sleep with women, I win. And so I wrote it on my briefcase. This doesn't matter.
Do you feel angry, Will, because your aggression rating is 74%?
That is ridiculous. I am the least aggressive man you could meet. I mean, yeah, I grew up on the lean, mean streets of Jersey, yeah? Where being in the wrong place at the wrong time was virtually impossible. You had to really work to find the wrong place, look it up in the yellow pages and then hang out there for days, and still nothing bad would happen.
You get minus 90% for responsibility.
Well, how come I was made a prefect a year early? How come I've never gone overdrawn? How come I always sit down to wee?
You're unhappy because you end up being bullied into doing things you don't want to do to please other people.
That's why I was there! I can't imagine anyone who they bring in there has joined the Church of Scientology high on their list of priorities, but do I say that?
For £100, you can sign up for our self-assertion course.
That sounds great. Here's my credit card.
As I left, I felt uneasy. I selected the TAO on my iPod.
Govern big countries like you cook little fish.
I don't know what the hell that meant. I do know that I'd missed the start of Spider-Man 3. I was furious. What kind of church would deny a man the chance to see a disappointing end to an underwhelming trilogy? I marched back into their offices and said, I've changed my mind, I don't want to join your church, I don't want to do your self-assertion course, and I want my money back. And she said...
No, Will. You've got to do the course because you've got to stop being bullied into doing things you don't want to do.
It was even more painful than trying to explain to my dad that P. Diddy was not in the Diddy Men. We just went round and round in circles until finally I played my joker, which I've always had at the back of my mind pocket. I said,
Give me my money back. I'm a researcher on Watchdog and I have Nicky Campbell on speed dial.
My money was immediately refunded. No one wants to do a dance of death with the tartan paxman. I I wish now that I demanded an extra £11 for the time I went to see the film Battlefield Earth, which was based on their founders' books. And they owe me more than that because I took my own drink and it was confiscated, yeah? That's £5 for the thermos, £4 for the soup. Those were fresh mushrooms.
I did a film in the desert. The Beautiful Boys of Tangiers.
Is that the one that was banned?
Yes. Nonsense. Love doesn't have to be sexual. You can admire a car without driving it.
True, although some might add that you could admire a car without filming it cavorting in an oasis with other cars and then riding around on a horse in the nude. Now, I'd got the money back, so I thought if I could browbeat that bunch of loons, surely I could bend the English heritage to my way of thinking. I just needed some guidance from John.
Seeing the small is called brightness. Maintaining gentleness is called strength. Use this brightness to return to brightness.
Now, seeing the small, now that had to be the insects behind these decisions. Who are they? English Heritage's Blue Plaques panel, made up of representatives of various disciplines from across the country. Who are these shadowy figures? Who watches the watchman? Who polices the police? Where is the Blue Plaque equivalent of internal affairs? Well, it just so happens you're listening to him. Gentleness is strength. Approach as a friend. Use this brightness to return to brightness. I would use wit and reason to persuade them. But first, I had to find them. How would I do this? I did what anyone else would have done in my position and waited outside their offices. Most got into cars or were met by spouses or friends, but one woman was on her own. I followed her to a party at an art gallery. Every kind of arsehole was there, from men in dungarees and berets to women in boiler suits and stilettos. Seriously, I didn't know who I wanted to punch first. I managed to manoeuvre myself next to her as she was talking to someone else. They went to get a drink, and I made my move. And it was smooth. Could you tell me where the loos are, please?
Yes, over there on the left.
Thanks. Actually, I'll wait a bit. It looks busy. I don't like people listening in. Mind if I hang? I'm Will.
Samantha.
So what's your connection with all this, then?
I work for English Heritage. We're sponsoring the exhibition. What's your connection?
Now, this threw me. I hadn't prepared a backstory. I fell back on something I knew I could talk about. I mean, I live with a disgusting flatmate. He never buys his own stamps.
Right.
Over the last 5 years, he has borrowed 12 stamps from me, incurring a £4.28 debt that I will never see back. Where does the extra 20 pence come from? Well, I am charging him a rate of interest below the Bank of England's own rate. Why are you being so generous, I hear you ask? Because it's the right thing to do. And also, it will give me more leverage in the small claims court. It's what my lawyer advised me to do. We were getting on great. And I was about to turn it subtly to the issue of Bergerac and plaques when this absolute card-carrying grade A tosser came over. I mean, this guy had trained for it. He had clearly sat at the feet of Russell Crowe, Colin Farrell and Damon Albarn and learned from the masters of tossiness. This is how he introduced himself.
Don Gerard, poet and funster.
Poet and funster. We should all be empowered as citizens to hang people like that under bridges. Once he found out what she did, he was even worse.
So why is it that the Blue Plaque thing is so London-centric?
Because it's about people who've lived in London.
Yeah, a lot of great artists don't live in London.
Yeah, some of them might live in London, but reflect life elsewhere, like in the Channel Islands.
What?
Jersey, it's where I grew up.
Oh yeah, tax dodgers, keep yourself warm at night burning all that mafia money.
We're not all millionaires.
Oh no, some of you are billionaires.
He was full of crap. He was like a crap fountain. Listen to this.
Yeah, the club scene in Moscow is really picking up right now.
No, it isn't. What's picking up in Moscow is AIDS and organised crime.
I only buy my rice from a special Egyptian importer in Camden.
Now, part of me was thinking, wow, he's really cool. What an individual. I really respect him. But most of me was thinking, I'd like to crush your nuts in a mousetrap. A specially imported Egyptian mousetrap.
I couldn't be friends with any man that looked at pornography. It degrades women.
That's the point.
I'm working on my third novel.
None of them published?
And a collection of short stories.
Can't be bothered to write proper stories. If Tolkien had been that lazy, they could have just dropped the ring down a well.
It's about growing up in London, you know? Just a range of cultures and experiences. It's like a kaleidoscope of the city. I was the first white kid in London to win a breakdance competition.
Yeah, I was the first member of the Jersey Cat Club to win Best in Show with a non-pedigree breed.
What?
I used to enter my cat in competitions.
You used to have sex with your cat?
No, I used to show my cat in competitions, and she won Best in Show.
Oh, I think that's really sweet.
Yeah, it was great to see Blackie's name on that trophy.
Blackie?
That was her name.
Isn't that racist?
Well, she was black.
Oh, so it's all right to call people names based on the colour of their skin?
Further, she was a cat.
I used to call my hamster Butterscotch.
Whatever.
The point is, why doesn't my membership of the Jersey Cat Club make me as cool and as individualistic as him winning his breakdance competition? I mean, I tried to make this point, but I kept getting sidetracked.
Bergerac is not racist. There just isn't a big black population on Jersey. I mean, it's a great show, and I think the star should be honoured with a blue plaque.
Is Bergerac the same as Lewis?
I'm sorry, but you work for English Heritage. That's like saying, did Churchill start his insurance company before or after the Second World War?
The evening ended shortly afterwards. It kind of ended there, really. I was asked to leave. I had a new enemy. I got home in a foul mood. I Googled him and found his MySpace page, from which I now quote, "Who I'd like to meet. Gods, monsters, painters, shamans, musicians, movers, shakers, fakers, quakers," he's rhyming it, "dancers and chancers, rappers and clappers." What does that even mean? People who want to party in the gutter whilst looking at the stars, cats and kittens who get me smitten. I would break my foot before I'm tired of kicking this guy in the balls. I would beat him to within an inch of my life. He'd be long gone and I'd be kicking away, exhausting myself into an early grave. But I knew that that wasn't the way.
The accomplished person is not aggressive. The good soldier is not hot-tempered. The best conqueror does not engage the enemy. The most effective leader takes the lowest place.
Well, I was certainly feeling aggressive and hot-tempered, so I had a cold bath. But that made me even angrier. It was bloody freezing. Then I calmed down. My revenge was twofold. First, I posted a comment on his MySpace page saying, "Why do you hate Scientologists?" That crashed his page under a welter of mail. I then put a blue plaque on his door saying, "Britain's biggest dick lives here."
Won't people just think that means he's got a tallywhacker like a mini baguette?
No, damn, you're right, I should have put biggest arse.
I'll tell you who could be commander of the King's Lancers for the size of his pike. John Nettles. Do you know him?
Yes, great, tell us.
I was directing an episode of a show called Bergerac. Set in Jersey. It followed the exploits of a detective called Jim Bergerac, played by... Anyone? John Nettles. I thought you'd know that one, Will. You're from Jersey, aren't you?
For the love of God. Look, sorry, please hurry, we're running out of time.
Anyway, there we were, in a jacuzzi. Slightly worse for wear. I'll never forget it. It was me, Roger Moore, and Tony Curtis, and some of the makeup girls. Suddenly, the bubbles part, and up comes the most ginormous...
So, where was John Nettles?
John Nettles wasn't in the Persuaders. I thought you'd know that. Deduct 2 points, deviation and whatnot.
OK, that's it. Thank you for coming, Nicholas. Let's quickly play a couple of rounds of 6 Degrees of Bergerac. By linking any film you care to name to a specific episode of Bergerac in 6 moves or less, I will show how it permeates all Western art. 6 Degrees of Bergerac.
Is this the quick-fire round?
No.
Can I play?
Yes, just give me a film.
Reach for the Sky.
Reach for the Sky starred Kenneth Moore, who's in Scott of the Antarctic with James Robertson Justice, who is in The Guns of Navarone with Gregory Peck, who's in The Boys from Brazil with Prunella Scales, who is in Episode 2, Unlucky Dip. Okay, I will now take a few requests from the audience. Terminator 3. Rise of the Machines. Arnold Schwarzenegger, True Lies with Art Malik, Episode 17, Miracle Every Week. What was it? Blazing Saddles? Yeah. Mel Brooks. Is Zero Mostel in that? Well, he's in The Producers. So Zero Mostel, who's in The Producers, who does the voice of Kiard, the seagull in Watership Down. I've suddenly got a vision of my life that's not good. Which also features the voice of Simon Cadell, Episode 4, Campaign for Silence.
Where Eagles Dare.
Where Eagles Dare, Darren Nesbitt.
Will Smith Presents the Tower of Bergerac was written by Will Smith and Roger Drew. It was performed by Will Smith, Karl Johnson, Simon Greenall, Rachel Bavidge, Olivia Poulet, and Dan Tetsell. John Nettles, who the hell's he? Did the voice of John Nettles, and the producer was Tilusha Ghelani.
Triumph of the Will, the Lenny Riefenstahl fetishization of the Nazi Party, features, of course, a little-known actor called Adolf Hitler, who, of course, features in archive footage at the beginning of The Eagle Has Landed. Which stars a certain Michael Caine, who was in Last Orders with Ray Winston, Episode 20, 90% Proof. I'm unbelievable. Hello. I'm Will Smith, and welcome to the TAO of Bergerac. Now, since I grew up on Jersey, I'm an avid fan of Bergerac. But it's not just the local connection. John Nettles' portrayal of ex-alcoholic cop Jim Bergerac is one of the great roles in dramatic art. Hamlet, Macbeth, Bergerac. The three corners of the triangle that is acting. One of my most treasured possessions is an audiobook of John Nettles reading the ancient Chinese text of the Tao. Ever since then, I've used it to illuminate problems in my life, to find a way through when the road seems blocked, although sometimes you have to unpick the meaning. For instance...
Nothing in the world is soft and weak as water. But when attacking the hard and strong, nothing can conquer so easily.
Having studied this passage at length, I have now decided it is more about the erosive power of water, as opposed to my first mistaken interpretation that you can fend off a burglar with a water pistol. Now, I've been having a few romantic difficulties recently, and the Tao's been a great help. I recently met the perfect woman. She has the mind of Marilyn Monroe, the body of Margaret Thatcher, and the sex appeal of Penelope Keith. I may have got some of those the wrong way round. But the whole package was utterly beguiling. But she was so amazing that I couldn't believe she liked me, which affected my behaviour. It's all to do with my self-confidence with women. Like a man trying to start a conga line at a funeral, I may have misjudged the scenario. To help explore where I went wrong, I am delighted to be joined this week by my special guest from the world of Bergerac. Please welcome Cécile Boudière. Now, Cécile, tell us all your connection with Bergerac and why that gives you special insight into my problems of the heart.
I played Jim's girlfriend in the first ever series.
Fantastic. And what are you doing now?
Well, recently I played Marie Antoinette, Brigitte Bardot, Joan of Arc, and Cleopatra.
Wow, that's brilliant. I mean, it sounds like the offers are flooding in. Is that film or theatre?
I work at a historical theme restaurant.
That is bleak. That really is bleak.
Times has been very hard since my divorce.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My useless pig of a husband declared himself bankrupt to get out of maintenance payments for our child, and since the house was in his name, it has been seized. He's very messy.
Well, it really sounds like you're better off without him.
Yes, I think he was homosexual.
Are you sure you're not just speaking out of bitterness there? Because, I mean, all but one of my ex-girlfriends have said that about me.
I caught him. They were making love.
That's pretty conclusive. I mean, luckily that's never happened to me.
You were never caught?
No.
Well, why did you say luckily?
Well, I meant I couldn't have been caught because I never did anything.
Then why did they think you were gay?
Well, why did you think your husband was gay? Until you had the proof, that is.
Well, he was not interested in sex.
Yeah, that's been said.
He was fastidious.
It's cropped up.
He was staring at men's buttocks and crotches.
You see, I deny that. No, I often lose myself in thought, so it looks like I'm staring, but I'm not. But if I explain that, it makes it worse. No one wants a stranger coming up to them and saying, "Just so you know, I wasn't staring at your balls." Trust me, this is the voice of experience.
Sounds like you have a problem of communication. In France, if you want to make le bonbon, we just ask.
Well, that would make things a lot easier.
I would just say, you seem like a nice, shy English boy. Would you like to sleep with me tonight? It has been a long time.
You see, that would make it easier. That could not be clearer.
Would you like to sleep with me tonight?
Yeah, everyone knows exactly where they stand with a statement like that.
What is your answer?
Well, no one's ever asked me that. At university, a girl said she wanted to spend the night with me. I turned up with my pyjamas and a sleeping bag. She got in a massive huff. No, if she'd have said sleep with, as opposed to spend the night with, I'd have known what she meant. Ask someone to spend the night with them. Now, that could mean watching DVDs, fishing, neighbourhood watch lookout, helping to trap a local feral cat. That's my upper thigh.
Sleep with me.
No, never. I couldn't. You were Jim's girl. I mean, those are big boots to fill. Not that any part of you is like a boot. I mean, you've really taken care of yourself, not like a lot of women these days.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I like to teach awkward lovers how to please me. Do you know at least what goes where?
Oh, I'm clear on the mechanics. It's just the etiquette. Like I was always great with Lego, but hopeless if I lost the instructions. The problem is, I'm just quite uptight. I worry about things. Like if a woman was to rip open my shirt in the throes of passion, I'd just think, oh, buttons. I mean, I wouldn't stop. I want to stress that. I wouldn't go, what up, bitch, you ripped my dang shirt. But I would be distracted. I'd be worrying about it. I'd be thinking, I think, well, I went under the wardrobe. Sounded like a couple bounced under the bed. I just can't switch off and go with the moment. I once lost an erection when I noticed that the woman I was with didn't alphabetise her CDs. It just went. I mean, don't worry, I got it back with the thought I'd be able to spend the whole of the next morning putting them all in order.
You need a very special woman. One who will put up with bad love.
I know, and I really think I've met her. I mean, this girl that I met, she's perfect. She's funny, she's bright, she's absolutely stunning. I am punching way above my weight. But I may have slightly soured my chances, and this has made me want to understand more about women. I've been listening to the TAO for some sort of general insight.
The valley's spirit never dies. It is called the mysterious female. The entrance to the mysterious female is called the root of heaven and earth.
Right, now, as usual, it takes a bit of working out. The valley spirit, I mean, could that be wind? Are women more prone to wind? No, that's sexist. The mysterious female, well, they're all pretty mysterious if you ask me. Why haven't I got a boyfriend? Oh, I'll be a boyfriend. Shut up, will you, idiot? The entrance to the mysterious female is called the root of heaven and earth. I mean, I've heard it called many things, but that seems a bit long-winded and would result in confusion in a romantic situation. I mean, that didn't really help. I mean, it's a shame that John Nettles can't be here in person, because I'm sure he'd have many an insight into the workings of woman. I tried everything. Flowers, chocolates, champagne, even a serenade from a gypsy violinist. He still turned down an appearance. For a good reason. He's in LA auditioning for the role of British ambassador in CSI Miami. I mean, good luck to him. I just wish the BBC would see sense and commission my script, CSI Jersey. The first episode is an absolute corker. Somebody's been sabotaging lobster pots. It turns out it's the work of a lobster rights activist. Bloody fool. If the lobster population isn't kept under control, they would overrun the island. The effects of which could and should be seen in my spin-off horror film script, Jim and the Giant Lobsters.
You know something? You are like my ex-husband.
I am nothing like your ex-husband.
He refused sex to watch the news.
No, I'm definitely not like him. I mean, I find that having the news on in the background really helps. Every time Paxman yells, "Oh, do come on," I pick up the pace.
How many lovers have you had? I believe failure in our love affairs is related to our past. So tell me about your lovers, and maybe it will put a light on.
Well, you know, I've not done too badly. It's been a pretty eventful time for me since Jim first graced our screens back in 1981. Here are my great loves.
The first time.
My first crush. Tight shorts, long flowing hair. In my class, twice a week. Mr. Dyson was one hell of a games teacher. I was born in 1971, but I had to wait until the summer of Star Wars for my first kiss. I waited until one of the really dull bits with Jar Jar Binks to make my move. Which ironically turned out to be as popular as him.
Electricity flows with the very first kiss.
My first date was Katie McRae. We were working together in a cafe after I first moved to London. I knew it was a bad sign when I asked her out and she said, "Only if you take me somewhere we don't have to talk." She was a history student who loved the theatre. I thought I'd combine the two and take her to the London Dungeon. I put my arm round her waist and she elbowed me in the face. Then this sensor-activated Grim Reaper loomed over me and I screamed like a girl, spilt my drink all over my trousers and started hyperventilating. Then the lights came on and all these school kids started chanting, "He's peed his panties, he's peed his panties." And it was Coke, so I was saying, "It's Coke, it's brown, it can't be wee-wee." So they changed it to, "He does poopy piss, he does poopy piss." And you know the worst thing? She joined in. And that was after she told me I was immature for breaking wind as I pointed at a sign saying, "Ripper exhibit." I actually chose to end things with my last girlfriend. She was pretty high maintenance, very, very demanding, and we just didn't click in terms of our moods. But I thought it was a sign of my increasing maturity that instead of just fobbing her off with the old "it's not you, it's me," which it isn't, it's always them, I was completely honest with her. She wanted to know why it was over, so I said, "Well, whenever we go to a restaurant, we always split the bill. I don't drink coffee." It was £3.50 a cup, it adds up. Also, you never crush cartons or boxes when you put them in the bin. It's not space efficient. I've essentially got a bin full of air, and twice the outlay I should have on bin bags. Plus, you often initiate sex on the sofa. That's not what it's for. If it was in the bedroom, I could understand, but it isn't. It's in the lounge. And she said, "Well, I don't like making love on a bed with a Bergerac duvet cover." And I said, "Well, neither do I. I have to keep washing it. The colours are fading. It's reducing the value." Now, what am I doing wrong?
You need to relax.
I relax, I get sloppy, I make mistakes.
Make some mistakes. Learn from them. Enjoy them.
I tried that, but I got so paranoid about how badly I was coming across. I went through a phase of recording all my dates to learn from them. But, you know, the playback just depressed me, even when I played at double speed, which normally makes anything funny. Whenever I did, it just backfired.
I'd like to hear that, but I think I might regret it. Like when I slept with that fisherman who gave me the crabs.
Sorry, Cecilia, you can't say that on Radio 4.
Why not? I am allergic to seafood. I wake up, there's this big net of crabs. I can't believe it. I don't like crabs.
Sorry, that's
I don't know
okay.
what to say.
No problem at all. I'll play the tapes now. This is me at a party putting on what I believe are known as the moves.
So have you got any Jamaican in you?
What do you mean?
Do you want some?
What do you mean?
You see, I saw that work really well at a party once.
Was he actually Jamaican?
You know, thinking back, I think he may have been. That's probably key to making the line work. I tried looking cool.
This is a lovely flat, Will. Are you going to take the dark glasses off? Why are you wearing an eye patch?
Because you shiver me timbers.
Why were you wearing an eye patch?
I still don't really know. I mean, I had a pirate costume, but I thought the lines, because I want to hook you into bed, or you give me a wooden leg, might not work. Another time, I tried being quirky and idiosyncratic.
I'll tell you a film I really enjoyed, Sideways.
Yeah? I thought it was racist.
I didn't think it was racist.
Yeah, that made it quite hard to sustain as an argument, because it isn't.
Do you like the music? It's key. Like me.
Will, this is no good. You need something that really works.
So how did Jim seduce you in Bergerac?
That is television. It's not real life.
The news is on television. That's real life.
Yes, but my character dating Jim Bergerac was not on the news.
It was a headline in my newsletter.
You should study someone who knows women. A real Lothario.
Oh, what, like my flatmate? I mean, I just don't understand his success with women. They fawn all over him. It's sickening.
He's just a young man going out, having fun.
No, he's a young man staying in and having fun. He brings them back to the flat.
So?
Well, doesn't that affect the council tax or something? I mean...
There's nothing wrong with him bringing women back to the flat.
There is. He has really loud sex. Whereas we all know that sex should be committed in silent contemplation at the fleeting joys life gives us in the face of mortality.
Try it. Sleep with as many people as possible.
No, I can't. It just doesn't work. I mean, like last week, my flatmate, he decided to take me out on the pull, as he calls it. We went to a nightclub called Lipsticks, spelt with an X. I mean, I've never understood why misspelling equals crazy fun. I suppose it's saying, if this is the disregard we have for language, imagine the disregard we have for social convention. In this club, the rain falls up. He insisted that the women in there were ripe for the plucking, and only a deformed half-wit would go home alone.
Just tell them you're a film producer.
But I'm not.
Well, lie then.
But what if it turns out I'm talking to a member of the British Film Council? She'll know I'm lying.
Look around you. How likely is that?
Now, I know from asking around that most men who attempt to chat women up are drunken, cocky idiots, and I wasn't going to be one of those guys.
I will not treat you like a piece of meat. I'm interested in you for who you are, not just for that and those.
My flatmate then had a very bad idea, which I warned him about at the time.
Have a drink, it'll relax you.
It won't. I'll just worry about needing to wee. It was a bit more complicated than that, but I didn't want to explain it to him. I didn't have any stones with me. I like to carry stones when I go somewhere I might need to wee, like a pub or a club. I get too nervous to go at the urinal, but I don't want people to think I've just gone in the cubicle for a wee. So I drop stones to make it sound like I'm depositing solids.
Isn't it more weird that people go in after you and find a pile of stones?
No, because I fished them out with a pair of ice tongs. I'm thinking of patenting a tong and stone set. It's a common problem.
I'm not sure it is.
Anyway, he really put pressure on me to drink.
My friend here wants a drink.
What can I get you?
Chamomile tea.
What?
Peppermint? Just get him a blue wicked.
It's a blue drink! How cool is that? I actually got quite drunk, and I don't remember much, but when I woke up, though, there was a woman in the flat.
It's a really nice flat.
Yeah.
It's about 10 o'clock. I feel quite ill. I can hear voices. One of them my flatmate. One of them's female. Although barely. Sounds like a right tart. Listen.
And what's that for?
That's a coffee maker.
Oh.
She sounds like a nightmare. How can you not know what a coffee maker looks like?
So, what's your name?
Jess.
Short for Jezebel. He's just as bad, though. He doesn't even know her name. He's a male slag.
Whoa! There's someone in here!
Calm down, I'm just bringing you tea.
Oh, thanks. I'm Will, by the way.
I know.
Oh, he told you.
No, you did. Last night. We met at the club.
We didn't?
No. You started crying when I pulled a button off your shirt.
What did you do that for? I'm a bit worried, actually, because she knows where I live. I mean, she could come back for more, or worse, try and blackmail me. That's why I'm running with this before she can.
Was that a girl you really like?
God, no.
Well, has she ripped your buttons yet?
No, I mean, nowhere near it. I mean, I met her at a party. I mean, she was a friend of a friend. We seemed to get on. And then a couple of days later, I got a call from the mutual friend saying, oh, she really likes you. Why don't you ask her out for dinner? And I was like, oh, no, she's too attractive for me. I mean, I'm sure she just wants to be friends. You got it wrong. Leave me alone, right? And then I remembered that, of course, Jim Bergerac started dating Susan, his girlfriend from seasons 4 to 7, through such a casual introduction. I mean, this could go the same way. I mean, by that, I mean a relationship, not that I end up investigating her death after she's washed up on a beach, following a poolside party for an African diplomat. So I asked her out for dinner, and it was just awful. I mean, I wish I could play it to you, but my dictaphone had broken. I mean, it wasn't just one of the worst dates I've ever been on. It was probably one of the worst nights of my life. And what makes it even more painful is that it started off really well. She was behaving in what I perceived to be a flirtatious manner. You know, she was laughing at my jokes, leaning forward to touch my arm when she laughed, and playing with her hair a lot, which I know is another really, really good sign. And then she starts going on and on and on about her ex-boyfriend. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, this isn't a good sign. Baggage. Then she changes tack with all this, oh, but you seem really different. You seem like a really nice guy, the sort of person a woman can really trust. I'm thinking, this is just her cack-handed way of telling me she just wants to be friends. Well, forget it, sweetheart. I've got enough friends. I don't need this. So I just try and eat as quick as I can. You know, we settle up. I don't get into the coffee thing. You know, I just try to cut my losses and get out of there. And we're standing outside the restaurant, and she says, why don't we share a cab? I'm thinking, fantastic. A chance to make back some of the money I lost on the coffee. We get in the cab. She says her address first. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. We live opposite ends of town. I'm getting stung for half her cab fare here. And she's clearly seeing me as a cheap ride home. I mean, on the way to hers, she's not even talking to me. She's falling asleep, got her head on my shoulder. The height of rudeness. Then we pull up at hers, and she says, do you want to come in for coffee? I'm thinking, I don't drink coffee. We've already been through this at the restaurant. So she's clearly not a listener. She says you could have tea. Tea is even more of a diuretic and has a higher concentration of caffeine. Why would you even suggest that? Then she said, look, please come in. I've got a problem with my broadband. I need to download a document for work tomorrow. It would be great if you could help me fix it. This is emotional blackmail now. I don't want word going round that I got her into trouble at work or got her sacked. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to fix your bloody computer now, right? So I go in the flat, right? Her computer's in her bedroom. She hasn't even got a study, huh? So I'm sitting on the end of a bed. I turn on the computer, try to connect to the internet. It connects first time, so now she's a liar as well. I mean, whatever game she's playing, she's clearly now had her fun and just wants me to go. And her way of letting me know this is to kick off her shoes, curl up on the bed next to me, put her head in my lap and start yawning. I just got out of there. It was humiliating. Absolutely humiliating.
Will, it sounds to me like she really likes you.
Yeah? Well, how about some signals?
Well, you know something? I would give her another go.
I did, actually. I turned once more to the TAO.
Hold your ground, and you will last long. Die without perishing, and your life will endure.
Hold my ground. Charge over the coffee? No, that's bad form. Give her another go, maybe. Yeah. Last long. Fake flowers? No, they promise so much from a distance. They are the transsexuals of the mantelpiece. Real flowers. They grow from the ground and last long if well watered. I decided to ask around for dinner and woo her with flowers. Now, I was going to go out and get flowers, but I had to get my dictaphone repaired. So I had to improvise.
It's through here. Got you some flowers, babe.
Oh, they're lovely, thanks. Oh, and a card.
Hey.
Be missing you for real, the freestyle crew.
Right, let's see.
What's that mean?
I cook.
No, the card.
When I'm not with you, I miss you. That's real.
Okay. This is our second date. That's a bit forward, but very sweet. Why the freestyle crew?
It's an acronym. You're going to ask what for, and the letters stand for other words, which are as follows, if I remember correctly. For regular, excellent, energetic, sassy times you like, engage, Count Regent Extraordinary Will.
Did you get these from a railing?
Yes.
Were there other flowers attached to the railing?
Yes. These were the freshest.
Do you think it might have been the scene of an accident?
In retrospect, that may have been the case. I did think it was quite an unattended florist, lacking both premises and staff. I did leave some money, though.
Did you?
No.
I'm leaving now.
Of course.
Now, on the surface, that sounds like a disaster. But I like to count it as a victory, and one that the TAO led me to. Because if you look at the bigger picture, by her leaving me alone, I was able to watch the Alec Baldwin story on the Biography Channel, a documentary on the real heroes of Telemark, the second half of one of Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and the whole of the Epcrest file, which I was able to video, this time cutting out the adverts. I can't think of a better way to spend an evening.
You know, my gay ex-husband used to avoid sex with me by watching stupid, meaningless television programs. You know what I think? I think you should go out with him.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Cecile. It's been an honour to survey the Ladylands so ably mapped by Jim.
Thank you, and good luck with your sexuality.
I'm going to assume you meant something else by that and put it down to a mistranslation.
That is how denial works.
Look, I know it sounds like I'm being defensive, but my lifestyle choices lead to successes in other areas. Give me a love film, and I will link it to Bergerac in 6 moves or less.
6 Degrees of Bergerac.
Gilles Jim.
Starred Jean Moreau, who was in Léon with Jean Reno, who was in Ronin with Natasha McElhone, who was in episode 79, Snow in Provence. Anyone else dare to challenge me? What? Gone with the Wind. Olivia de Havilland did a TV movie with Patrick Allen, episode 29, House Guests. Battleship Potemkin starred Andrei Facht, who is in Privelovsky Milioni with Igor Yazulovich, who is in Mino Min Mino with Christopher Lee, who's in Sleepy Hollow with Richard Griffiths, who's in episode 16, Fall of a Birdman. National Velvet stars Elizabeth Taylor, who's in The Flintstones, with John Goodman, who's in...
Will Smith Presents the TAO of Bergerac was written by Will Smith and Roger Drew. It was performed by Amelia Bullmore, Tara Blaze, Olivia Poulet, Dan Tetsell and Will Smith. John Nettles did the voice of John Nettles and the producer was Tilusha Ghelani.
Yeah, okay, hang on. Derek Jarman's Blue features the voice of Tilda Swinton, who is in Orlando with Dudley Sutton, who is in episode 29, House Guest. I'm Will Smith, and welcome to the TAO of Bergerac. What is the TAO? It's an ancient Chinese text full of spiritual and practical aphorisms. What is Bergerac? It's an 80s detective show set in Jersey, starring John Nettles. Over the last 2,500 years, the TAO's influence has extended to become the bedrock of Eastern thought. Over the last 2 decades, Bergerac has risen to become the benchmark of excellence in dramatic art. Where once actors would refer in hushed tones to playing the Dane, they now refer to giving it some nettles. Put these two together in an audiobook of John Nettles reading the TAO, and you have the best of East and West. The summation of humanity's achievements. But to me, on a day-to-day level, John's reading of this sacred text is a source of much solace and wisdom.
Conquering others takes force. Conquering yourself is true strength.
I think that this is to do with self-knowledge and restraint. Not, as was my earlier literal interpretation, that you can scare off a gang of marauding kids by slapping yourself around the face. That just led to an intensification of insults, including more specific requests for self-harm. It's very hard to stamp on your own balls, but I gave it my best shot. I thought I was better off hurting myself than letting them hurt me. Now, one of the reasons I've always loved Bergerac is that he seems to me to be the epitome of masculinity. Certainly he's more of a man than all other cops in our culture. Take Dirty Harry. He's meant to be the toughest cop around, but Jim is an unarmed cop with a higher arrest rate. There are 6 Dirty Harry films. He closes 6 cases over a 25-year period. He should be called Lazy Harry. Plus, I can't take him seriously because when I was growing up on Jersey, there was a guy called Dirty Harry. He wasn't a cop. He used to relieve himself in car parks and lifts, phone boxes, public gardens, impressively hanging baskets, beaches, and on one occasion, a bouncy castle the night before a parish fete. Now, unfortunately, the fete was being opened by Shane Ritchie, who insisted on being first on the castle for a photo for the Jersey Evening Post. He ended up with a very different headline than the one he wanted for the start of his summer season. I think he was hoping for King of the Castle, but he ended up with Ultimate Daz Challenge. There's only one TV cop who comes close to Jim in terms of machismo. Magnum versus Bergerac. Both shows have much in common. Both are set on tropical islands. Both men drive classic sports cars. But Magnum's Ferrari is more powerful, showing an insecurity with his own virility. With his moustache and chest hair, he's almost a cliché of masculinity. A parody. A cartoon figure you might find in the pages of Honcho, Tom of Finland, Trucker's Delight, Leather Patrolman, Six-Pack Sissies, or any number of mail-order homoerotic comics. And throughout my life, I've struggled with my self-image as a man. I mean, I know I am one, I've got all the working parts, but sometimes the choices I've made have caused others to call into question my gender. I committed many unmacho acts growing up. I organised a petition against a BMX park. I self-published 10 issues of a Tony Hart fanzine. I threw a glass of milk over someone for calling erasure gay. I tried to get out of rugby on the grounds of conscientious objection. Now, one of the most traumatic experiences of my childhood was the school cycling trip to France. We arrived very late at the campsite, and due to some sort of clerical error, the same sort of clerical error that meant I went to Southampton University instead of Oxford. Yeah, I had the grades, I just wasn't a rower. I was put into a chalet with the hard lads. By modern standards, they weren't particularly hard. Nonetheless, their names and faces were enough to strike fear into the heart of any Jersey teenager. They included Alan Dubois. He lost his virginity at the age of 15. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I was sharing a chalet with a sex criminal. There was also Piers Delahaye, street name Rollerboy. The kind of kid who would skateboard down a corridor. Current whereabouts unknown, although he is thought to be working in the finance sector. And finally, Roger Pennington. This guy was so ice, he brought a penthouse into Mr. Lecane's physics lesson. I was watching him the whole time. Kid didn't even break a sweat. Now, up to this point, our paths hadn't crossed. We were aware of each other's work, I of their conquest of local girls and black market racketeering in nude playing cards. They of my unbroken record in divinity tests. But that fateful night brought upon the world a clash of civilizations the like of which had never been seen. This is my audio diary from the time.
June 7th. Woke up early so I could practice my times tables. The others slept in till 9. Lazy bones. On waking, they ignored my hand-drawn map of the campsite and focused on my rally roadster. "What's that?" asked Pennington. "My bike," I replied. "No," he said, "that's a girl's bike." June 8th. I'm now known around the campsite as Girl's Bike.
It was not a girl's bike. It was a straight handlebarred 3-speed classic town bike. I mean, at worst, it was a unisex bike. But no matter what I did, to them, it was a girl's bike, even when I removed the wicker basket at the front. Now, I'm delighted to have with me tonight a man of Bergerac. Unfortunately, John Nettles has turned down my repeated requests to make a personal appearance on this show. Tonight, he's playing a Borg Admiral in Star Trek Enterprise. I thought that had been cancelled. But I am delighted to welcome in his place the chief stuntman from Bergerac, Mr. Dirk Fall. Evening, Dirk. Lovely to have you here. Just give everyone a flavour of the kind of stunts that you did on Bergerac.
I jumped off the roof of a van.
Wow, and how fast was it going?
It was stationary. I reversed a tractor into a ditch.
People do forget that Bergerac really was action-packed. I mean, you got everything from an on-foot chase through a shopping precinct to a punch-up on a moored yacht. And of course, there were the many low-speed car chases. Which I feel that, like women's tennis matches, display more skill than a testosterone-fueled serve-and-smash game.
Plus, you can see their knickers.
So, how did you get to be a stuntman?
Well, the usual route is you get put ashore on Jersey from a fishing trawler after leaving the net open on 10 grand's worth of prawns. Then you find yourself sleeping on a beach because you were sacked from your job as a bouncer at a local pub after being wrongly accused of being drunk on the door. And just as your money's running out, you lie your way into a job so you worked on some of the Sinbad films in the 70s. That's the usual route.
What about John Nettles? I mean, what's he like to work with?
Only met him once. Seemed all right.
How come you only met him the once?
I wasn't on it for that long. See, they were paying me 30 quid a day, but filming me on £3,000 cameras. One of them took a walk.
You told me you were in every episode.
I told the director of Zorro I could stand up on a galloping horse. And I could. For about a second.
All right, so what other shows have you done?
Well, I played a troll in Box of Delights. Sean Bean dragged me behind his horse in Sharp.
I jumped off a rampart in King Arthur. I was in Gladiator...
I love that film.
Gladiator Cop. Me and a mate sailed a yacht to Jamaica, brought back 50 grand's worth of wacky, lived off that for a couple of years.
Is that the plot of Gladiator Cop?
No, we really did that.
Sorry, you're just admitting to a crime on national radio.
Yeah, no, that is the plot to Gladiator Cop. He takes a boat and, you know, what I said.
Well, that's certainly a varied CV. What can we see you in next?
I'm Farmer 7 in Debbie Does Dorset.
Well, you really are getting through those cans. Dirk, you're clearly a man of the world, and I'd like to ask your advice. I recently had to hire some builders. Now, I know you're supposed to get several quotes and make a decision, but I just went with the first people who came round because I couldn't face the idea of interviewing other builders. I just don't like the idea of promising work to and then taking work away from men who can use a hammer and know where I live. If there's one thing those guys don't like, it's a prick tease. Plus, they were Russian, and those guys have no problem taking the law into their own hands, or even making up their own new law that Will Smith must stand on a barrel at a seaside tavern and do a naked Cossack dance. Now, I needed work done on my bathroom. I wanted the shower changed. It was too strong. It hurt my head. It was like needles going through me. Now, at first, these builders seemed really good. They gave me plenty of other options I hadn't even thought about.
Here you could have walk-in shower or heated towel rail, maybe bidet.
Bidet, great. What's he saying?
He says bidet is for women.
Well, can you tell him it's because my flatmate has a girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't at the moment, but I needed to cover myself. I tried it once in a hotel, and it was really nice. Very relaxing.
And I'd like a nice big cupboard for the bath toys.
I know what you mean. Toys for the sex.
No, they're bath toys.
What is bath toys?
Well, I've got some miniature yachts, pirate ship, a clockwork diver, some squeaky ducks, a U-boat, and some customised matey bottles.
No problem.
And I'd like special alcoves for the scented candles. I have been putting them on the window ledge, but I worry the lace curtain will catch fire.
Right. You're the boss.
And can you do an extra hook for my shower cap?
Sure. You wish for anything else?
I really need an extractor fan. The condensation is starting to discolour my Flashdance poster.
Now, individually, I can justify all those choices, but listening back, the cumulative effect is quite damning. I mean, no one's going to bat an eyelid if you've got the best of Hall & Oates in your CD collection. But if you've got everything they've ever done on all formats, then the only valid excuse you can give is that you're either Hall or Oates. But even without my bathroom instructions, these guys just made me feel less of a man. Now, one of the reasons I feel insecure in my masculinity is that I'm scared of pain. To me, that's a reasonable stance. My policy has always been no pain, no. But real men are supposed to laugh off pain. I mean, Dirk, you must have picked up lots of injuries through your work.
Oh, yeah, loads. Goes with the territory. I tore my Achilles tendon falling off a bin, trying to look into Amanda Holden's dressing room. I got off my face with Simon Callow. Don't know what I said to him, but he broke my wrist. You wouldn't think they had it in them, the old...
actors.
Oh, yeah, he's one of those as well. I actually twisted my ankle falling off a ladder acting in an accident claims advert. Ironically, they didn't pay up. And Helen Mirren kicked me in the balls.
Was that in Prime Suspect?
No, just in a pub. I think she's mates with Callow.
Well, you're clearly a man who speaks his mind. I find that much harder. I felt backed into a corner over the price of building work. And we agreed a figure. Then suddenly all these extras started creeping in. You know, extra tiles, parking permits, VAT. My problem has always been standing up for myself. I looked to the TAO.
The softest thing in the world rides roughshod over the strongest.
Why are you listening to that crap?
Well, it's life lessons from John Nettles.
You want life lessons, you come to me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've been to the bottom, I've been to the top.
Define top.
For a few brief seconds, I saw into Amanda Holden's dressing room.
I think I'll stick with John Nettles. Well, the softest thing in the world, that's clearly me. The strongest, well, that's the builders. I decided not to be pushed around.
Will, what are you doing?
Ironing my hankies.
You do them again?
My cleaning woman never does them properly.
You can mock, but how else do they fit neatly into the top pocket of your pyjamas?
You will need new water tank. This one very old. Rust is bad.
That's just rubbish, right? I know how men like that work. They like to see how far they can push it. Well, even the softest thing in the world has his limits. I don't mind making them tea, coffee, crumpets, cakes, salads, omelettes, mixed grills, and on one occasion, a pavlova. But I've got to draw the line somewhere.
Don't worry about that. My budget doesn't really stretch to it. So, what are you looking at?
Well, this picture here. Why are you on girl's bike?
And the stress and disruption of building work was exacerbated by the fact that my flatmate was refusing to talk to me at the time. Now, luckily, I record most of our interactions, so I have ready proof when some people claim he can't be as bad as I make out. As you will see, I was, as usual, blameless.
Will, I've just got off the phone to Sue. She said she rang yesterday and you asked her if she was Emma.
Isn't Emma your girlfriend?
No, it's Sue.
Well, I thought you were going out with Emma.
That ended 6 months ago.
So where was she at your dinner party last week?
That was Sue.
Was it? You sure?
I think I know which one's my girlfriend.
Right. So what's the problem?
Sue now thinks I'm cheating and wants some time to think.
Well, you can get back together with Emma then.
I can't. She got pissed off with you hoovering every morning at 6 o'clock.
Got to keep the flat clean.
It's not my fault, okay? They're also interchangeable. An endless parade of leggy blonde bimbos. I don't mind, it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that I'm paying for the heating and water for the massive showers they have together. And they go on for ages. The whole point of a shower is that it's quicker than a bath. I just don't know what the hell they're doing in there.
He's sinking his Belgrano.
What?
Stuffing the turkey, loading the cannon, walking the eel, shaving the badger, shagging.
In a shower? Don't be ridiculous. That is impossible.
No, it's fine, as long as she can get her foot up on the soap dish. Bish, bash, bosh, job done.
What's wrong with me? I can barely muster the energy to have sex lying down. If a woman said, give it to me harder, I'd just say, can't we cuddle?
You daft fairy.
Pardon?
That's what I said to Simon Callow, I just remembered. I was only joking.
What's even more irritating, beyond all the sex he's getting, is that my flatmate got on really well with the builders. I found having them round very stressful. Things started to get to me.
It's 9:30. They haven't even started yet. They're just sitting around. They're on another tea break. I don't mean to be crude, but one of the builders, when using my toilet, leaves what I would refer to as unnecessary detritus. That's the third time I've flushed that. They're still not back from lunch. And that grouting looks like it's bubbling. Can I ask them to do it again? Also, I can see brushstrokes in the paint. I wish I'd bought a longer dressing gown. One of them keeps whistling at me.
I didn't feel confident enough to say anything. It was made worse by the fact that the head builder, Yergi, then took a bit of a shine to me. He showed me some pictures of his army unit back in Chechnya.
Good men all, like brothers.
Who's that tied up?
Him we know like. Some men not like us, not real men. He was, how you say, Nancy boy. You know Nancy boy, are you, Will? We see no women here. You live with men.
No, I love the ladies.
Good. Because my sister needs a man.
I bet she does.
What do you mean?
Sorry, you make me nervous.
Now, to try and look less of a Nancy boy, as they termed it, I bought a dressing gown with a tiger on the back. It was also longer and wider, so I could tie it around with less chance of peakage. But the tiger thing kind of backfired.
What did he say?
We have saying back home, man with cut on his back is a homosexual. But you know, Nancy boy, this is Will. He go on date with my sister. Maybe we become family.
I was starting to feel really pressurised. I didn't know this girl. I barely knew her brother.
Back in a minute, mate.
Where are you going? Have you just thrown up?
Oh, that's better.
Someone's going to have to clean that up.
Don't worry, got it in the fire bucket. Well, most of it.
That bucket is supposed to be full of sand. I mean, if vomit worked better as a flame retardant, there'd be buckets of vomit besides all major exits. Now, I don't enjoy going on dates with people I like, let alone someone I don't even know. But I couldn't avoid it. It was sprung on me.
Will, come here. Someone very special I want you to meet.
Hi, you must be the carpenter.
This is my sister.
Well, that was awkward. She's the sort of woman you'd describe as handsome. If you saw a statue of her commemorating the Battle of Stalingrad, you'd think, that's really impressive. But you don't want to wake up with it.
She'll like you. She likes girly men.
Oh, I'm not really a girly man.
Yes, you are. I pay for a date for you both. I get tickets for Cradle of Filth.
Is that a film?
It's my sister's favorite band. And when I tell flatmate, he say it's your favorite band too. But the gig is sold out and you cry when you no get ticket.
Look, he said that because when his girlfriend rang, I
had to talk to a lot of people to get this. Cost me a lot in time and money. I like make my sister happy. You no go, you make her unhappy, you make me unhappy.
I tried to put a brave face on it. I mean, she already had a brave face. She looked like Sitting Bull. I mean, it was awful. We had nothing to say to each other before the gig. Would you like another water?
No.
Minstrel?
No.
Jelly top?
No.
From Russia with love.
Stop singing.
But then the band came on, and I thought this would be a relief. It wasn't. I only got through it by listening to a Jack Higgins audiobook on my iPod at full volume.
He reached inside his leather trench coat and with steely fingers slid the safety catch off on his Luger. 3 men, all harder than the ground.
And it was really quite rough. I was getting bounced around and things kept falling out of my pockets. I don't know whether you've ever tried to pick up a fountain pen in a mosh pit. But it's a bloody nightmare. But at least that was the end of it. Or so I thought.
Will!
Yes?
My sister said it was best date she ever been on. You real Prince Charming. You no try feel her up?
No, of course not.
What matter with you? You no like her? Be my guest.
It was all getting too much for me. I drew strength from the TAO.
Therefore the sage says, accept a country's filth and become master of its sacred soil. Accept a country's ill fortune and become king under heaven.
Accept a country's filth. Well, I did that. We went to see Cradle of Filth. Is it less literal? Does it mean sleep with the sister? Accept a country's ill fortune and become king. I knew deep down I was going to have to take a hit on this. Literally. Having weighed up the options, I decided that the best course of action was to make a pass at him. He'd knocked me out with one punch because of his ingrained homophobia. His sister loses interest. He leaves the job in disgust. I get someone else to sort out the bobbling on the grouting and the brushstrokes. And with the money I saved so far from paying them a cheap cash rate, I could probably get some reconstructive dental surgery.
Oh, you knock my advice, and yet the best option on the table seems to be that you stop banging your builder.
Look, I'm not saying it wasn't a worry. This guy could punch through walls. My face would not be a challenge.
Will, why are you standing so close?
Listen, Yogi, sometimes men have feelings they can't control, and it was at that moment that my tanks burst all over the room. That's not a euphemism, my water tank burst. And the insurers are insisting on using their own builders. So no more Yergi, no more man-faced sister, and no more mixer taps. Dirk, what's wrong?
I just remembered it's one of my kids' birthdays today and I forgot. Oh, I'm a terrible dad.
You're a father? How many kids have you got?
Oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 in this country. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. I'm a terrible man.
No, come on, you remembered. I mean, why don't you wish them happy birthday on the radio? That would make their day. Well, what's their name?
Pat? Pete? Well, it is Pete or Pat.
And how old are they?
7. No, 10. Or around that.
Are you sure it's their birthday?
Yeah, they were born on a Wednesday.
OK, well, if anyone out there is called Pat or Pete and is between the age of 7 and 10, was born on a Wednesday and hasn't seen their father since... No, why would you know that? Happy birthday from Dirk.
Name me one thing I've achieved in my life.
Well...
One thing!
I'm thinking. You passed your driving test?
Banned! What have I got to live for?
How about the fact that I can link any film you can name to a specific episode of Bergerac in 6 moves or less?
No way! That's wicked!
6 degrees of Bergerac.
Who dares wins?
Starred Richard Widmark, who is in National Lampoon Goes to the Movies with Peter Riegert, who is in Local Hero with Dennis Lawson, who is in episode 17, Miracle Every Week. Next. City of God. Yeah, thanks. That Brazilian film where they cast it with street kids. Yeah. Thanks for helping me out of a hole there. City of God stars Mateus Nachtergaele, who is in OK Isso Compañero, with Alan Arkin, who's in Catch-22, with Anthony Perkins, who's in North Sea Hijack, with an actor called Sean Arnold, who plays Jim's boss Barney Crozier in pretty much every episode of Bergerac. Thank you. He's back. Hang on. Smokey and the Bandit?
2. Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Smokey and the Bandit 2. Well, I mean, the real challenge would be Smokey and the Bandit 3 that doesn't have Burt Reynolds, but OK. Smokey and the Bandit 2 stars Burt Reynolds, who's in the Cannonball.
Will Smith Presents the TAO of Bergerac was written by Will Smith and Roger Drew. It was performed by Will Smith, Ewan Bailey, Rachel Babbage, Roger Drew and Dan Tetsell. Will Turner was Little Will Smith, and John Nettles did the voice of John Nettles. The producer was Tilusha Ghelani.
Hello, this is John Nettles leaving a message for Will Smith. Look, I understand you've been playing extracts from my audio book on Radio 4. Now, by my calculations, you owe me £16.30p. Look, either that, or at least would you plug some of my other audio stuff? I've just done Letters from Hustler. They could do with a push. Could you give me a ring?